It's 2:17 a.m. on a rainy night in a small town. Police lights flash against the walls of a rundown motel. Inside, officers discover two teenagers lying on the bed, their hands intertwined. But they aren't victims. They're suspects. In the quiet hours of the night, a call came into dispatch about screaming and breaking glass at the Oakview Motel. What officers found when they arrived would unravel a story of love, violence, and survival that no one saw coming. At the center of it all was a young girl named Maria Lopez, and the boy she thought would save her. But sometimes, love isn't enough to escape the darkness. Maria Lopez was just 16 when her life began to spiral. Raised in a neighborhood plagued by crime and poverty, her childhood was defined by instability. Her father was in and out of jail while her mother worked multiple jobs, rarely home to protect her. Neighbors later told investigators that Maria was the quiet one, a girl who kept her head down but whose eyes revealed a lifetime of pain. Maria's escape came in the form of Ethan Carter, a boy just a year older who lived only a few blocks away. Ethan was different, charming, protective, and willing to fight for her when no one else would. At first, their relationship was innocent. Long walks, late-night phone calls, and stolen moments away from Maria's troubled home. But Ethan's world wasn't free of darkness either. Police records would later reveal that he had a history of petty theft and fights with local gang members. Still, to Maria, he was a hero. When you grow up surrounded by chaos, love can feel like salvation. For Maria, Ethan wasn't just a boyfriend. He was a way out. As their relationship deepened, Maria began spending more nights away from home. Friends noticed changes in her. New clothes, a tougher attitude, and a streak of defiance that hadn't been there before. Investigators would later learn that Ethan had started taking her along on late-night runs. Small-time jobs at first, boosting electronics, shoplifting, and sometimes acting as his lookout while he hustled on the streets. To Maria, it felt exciting. Dangerous, yes, but thrilling. For the first time, she felt in control. But danger always comes with a price. On a cold winter night, the couple checked into a cheap motel. It was meant to be a safe place for them to hide out after a fight Maria had with her mother. Instead, it became a pivotal moment in their story. Security footage later reviewed by police showed the couple entering the motel hand in hand around midnight. But by 2 a.m., witnesses reported hearing loud shouting, followed by what sounded like breaking glass. Officers were dispatched immediately. When they arrived, they didn't find two people fighting. They found two people clinging to each other like the world was against them. Detectives later described the scene as heartbreaking. A young couple sitting on the edge of the bed, terrified, like they knew something bad was coming. It wasn't until hours later, during questioning, that the truth came out. Maria wasn't just running from her mother that night. She was hiding a secret she hadn't told anyone. She was pregnant. In that cold motel room, Maria confessed the truth to Ethan. At first, there was silence. Then, a single tear rolled down his cheek. To detectives, Ethan appeared stunned. But what they didn't realize was that this revelation would set off a chain of events leading to tragedy. Ethan promised Maria he would protect her and their unborn child no matter the cost. But protection, in Ethan's world, meant power. And power meant violence. In the weeks following Maria's pregnancy reveal, Ethan became increasingly reckless. He was involved in several street fights and was suspected in a string of robberies, though no one would testify against him. The young couple was spiraling and the walls were closing in. The breaking point came 3 months later when Ethan was accused of assaulting a local gang member. Fearing retaliation, he and Maria went on the run, bouncing between friends' couches and cheap motels. It was during this time that Maria gave birth to their daughter, Anna. In the middle of chaos, a fragile new life was brought into the world. But Anna's birth didn't bring peace. It only raised the stakes. Child Protective Services were soon alerted to their unstable living situation. With nowhere left to hide, Ethan grew desperate. Detectives later said they could see how scared they were. But fear can make people dangerous, and Ethan was already walking a thin line. On the night of July 14th, police received a call about shouting and a possible kidnapping at a local residence. Witnesses reported seeing a young man carrying a baby, followed by a girl screaming for him to stop. Officers raced to the scene, but by the time they arrived, Ethan and Maria were gone. Hours later, they were located at the same motel where Maria had first told Ethan she was pregnant. Inside, officers found Ethan holding the baby tightly while Maria pleaded with him to let her go. It was a heartbreaking scene. A boy who wanted to be a protector, a girl who just wanted to save her child, and a future teetering on the edge. Ethan surrendered without a fight. Anna was taken into protective custody, and Maria was escorted to safety. Today, Maria lives in a foster care program, working to rebuild her life. Anna is safe, though she remains in state custody. Ethan, now 18, faces multiple charges, including kidnapping and assault. Love can be a powerful force, one that pushes people to fight, to dream, and sometimes to destroy. For Maria and Ethan, love wasn't enough to save them. But maybe, just maybe, it will be enough to save Anna.